Hello, Pensacola. This is Sunrise Conversations. Ken Bonner, your host. We promised you a special guest today, and we got one of Pensacola's own. A young lady on the move for positive change. She's right here with us today. I want to introduce y'all to Miss Cheryl Etheredge. She's the co-founder at Lupus Strength Circle, founder of Smiles Behind Lupus, and also the founder of the Escambia and Santa Rosa Black nonprofit organization, and currently serving as president of the Golden Elite Track Club of Pensacola, Florida. So here she is, folks, on the line with you right now. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am doing fine. How's your day been today?
Been doing very good. Busy, but good.
Yes, you're definitely a woman on the move.
Yes.
Yeah, so you want to tell us a little bit all about your involvement?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So I started the Escambia and Santa Rosa Black nonprofit group after being on different community boards, grant review committees, and seeing our Black nonprofits struggle. And I wanted to figure out a way that I could help grassroots nonprofits thrive, and that is what God put on my heart. I had a little bit of extra time, which that doesn't really seem true, but I wanted to be able to pour into others because I did about 15 years in the medical field.
Yes.
And was diagnosed with lupus, and everything stopped. You know, like I couldn't work anymore. I was just like lost. Like, what do I do now that I can't help? I felt like I couldn't help people anymore. But God opened doors to where I was able to start Smiles Behind Lupus, Lupus Smile Box, and now I co-found the Lupus Strength Circle, just trying to raise awareness. So it's been in me through my parents who were ministers that have passed down seeing others. And so that was my reason for starting the Escambia and Santa Rosa Black nonprofit group.
Have you found a lot of community support from the community in establishing that group?
Oh, absolutely. We held our first nonprofit workshop in February, and that was intentional for, of course, Black History Month. And I partnered with Gulf Coast Minority Chamber, Brian Wire, who's absolutely amazing. When he found out that everything that I do is free of charge, he wanted to figure out a way that they could, come in and help. And so we were able to host the event at the chambers. And it's just been like an overwhelming, I knew people needed help, but I guess I did not really realize how many people were struggling to navigate through the grant world. So the community has been absolutely amazing.
So wanting to start a small business, whether it be for a nonprofit organization, they can come to Escambia and Santa Rosa Black Nonprofit Organization for guidance in the file required documents and so forth?
Absolutely. I can help them, from if they're brand spanking new and only have a vision, and I can help them formulate, the structure that's needed to run a nonprofit, because I think a lot of people forget nonprofit is still a business. And you have to have a plan. You still have to write a business plan so you know who you're serving. So I can help that brand new person or a nonprofit that's been around for 20 plus years, but maybe they're just struggling financially and are stagnant, and they need someone to review their policies, their programs, to make sure that they are doing what they, can to serve the community.
I imagine often type of service you get people farther than Santa Rosa and Escambia.
We do. At
Yes.
the workshop, we actually had several that traveled from Alabama to get the services. I've been reached out to people as far as South Carolina that they're like, hey, I really want to start this, but I don't know how. Can you help me? So it's already reaching across the U.S.
Yes.
So that makes me, of course, I have to start training and learning a little bit more about other regulations in other states. So yeah, it's definitely reaching more than just Escambia and Santa Rosa.
What are some of the challenges you have faced in running that particular organization in terms of connecting and collaborating with other nonprofits?
I would say challenge-wise is just that I'm one person, and the overwhelming response. So now, like, I literally just had lunch with someone that believes in the mission and wants to help. So I think our next step is just forming like an advisory committee. That way I have enough people that can help execute what's needed. So that far is, really that's the only challenge, because this is something that, even though it's a nonprofit, I just fund, myself and my husband, because I don't want finances to ever be a barrier like it is for so many. So yeah, I think that would be the only challenge, is that I need more bodies or doubles of me.
Yes. Let's go back to something you said earlier concerning lupus. I have a niece in Tennessee that has. I don't know anything about that medical issue. Do you find that to be the general case for most of the population, being uninformed about it?
Very uninformed, and the fact that it affects more people of color and mostly women of color, and there's not a lot. Even my years in the medical field, I've heard of it, but I really didn't know, because that wasn't, the specialty that I worked in. And so when they told me, it's just like, okay, now, like, what else? Like, so what are you going to give me to take? And they're like, oh, there's no cure. And you're sitting there like, what? It's almost like you're given a death sentence, and then they send you on your way. Like, when I was diagnosed, like, they gave me no paperwork. There was nothing. So I had to go through Googling, YouTube, just to learn what I needed to, like, understand. And so that's when I started the Smiles Behind Lupus, because so many of us were out there struggling because no one was telling us, don't do this, or this is why you're having this. So that's a hard disease. And I think some people, when they hear it, they're like, oh, your joints hurt and you're tired all the time. And I was like, well, I wish that was it, but I have what's called systemic and discoid. Discoid affects your skin, but systemic affects all of your organs. So I've had kidney failure. I was on oxygen for 2 years. So I've had tons of stuff, but people, when they see me, they can't tell, because it's an invisible disease unless you're on a walker at the time or on oxygen. No one would ever know. So it's just raising awareness to break that stigma to what being sick should look like.
So you had to learn, you had to educate yourself about it, and then you took what you were learning and expanding it into a knowledge base for everybody else to be informed about.
Yes, sir.
My next question is how in the world do you find time for Cheryl? Because in the middle of all that you do, you have a family, and then there's you. How do you find time for Cheryl?
So that's something that has always been a challenge, but within the last, I would say 2.5, 3 years, just going through some personal things, I had to realize I was pouring into everyone and not myself, even though, I have enjoyment of helping others. But I was like pouring out of an empty vessel. So I make it a point twice a year. I will go, I don't care if it's at Pensacola Beach or on, just a hotel locally. I will take like a weekend or 4 days just for myself to just breathe, unplug from social media, just so I can re-pour into other people. So I had to learn that the hard way.
Yes, because it's amazing. You are a remarkable person, constantly on the go and keeping it going. So can you describe some of the key programs or initiatives that you're working on now regarding the Escambia and Santa Rosa Black nonprofit organization?
Yes, I'm trying to look at formatting almost like a mentor group that we can meet on a monthly basis, just to share our struggles. It's just kind of like I don't necessarily say I want it to be like a mixer, but it could be something that's virtual, but just coming together in that safe space. And that was big. I wanted people to feel safe when they're sharing their struggles.
Yes.
And not have, it's like a no judgment zone. And so I think that's our next step, is forming the group to do more things, on a monthly basis. And I will be doing another workshop in the fall. But yeah, that's really kind of where I'm at. But I can help So nonprofits with board development, grant writing assistance, program development and capacity building, of course, assist to start the nonprofit.
And how many do you have volunteer staff members that assist you in your day-to-day duties with this organization?
No, right now it's just myself. I do have a couple amazing friends and mentors that I will reach out if I have something that I feel is a conflict. Like if someone needs a grant review, so sometimes I'll reach out to them to assist. And right now, I guess seeing the overwhelming response, now I know I'm like, okay, I need.
Yes.
But at first, I go into it like I was just like, I just want to help people, But now I see that I will have to form a team or committee, to help me, because I don't want someone, that I can't do it because I'm overwhelmed with other stuff. So I know now, God has shown me it's time for me to expand to that, level.
Cheryl, you obviously are a very organized person, because I've never applied for a grant, but to my understanding, the grant writing process is somewhat lengthy and very detailed.
Mm-hmm.
And you are able to handle this process not only for Escambia and Santa Rosa Black nonprofit organization, but for every organization that becomes a part of that.
Yeah. And one thing that's a little different, though, I will say, I've gotten tons of organizations like, hey, I need you to write this grant, I'll pay you. And I quickly stop and say, first, I'm not doing this for money. Second, my goal with the Escambia and Santa Rosa Black nonprofit is to teach you the correct way of what a grant should look like. So if you are hiring someone, you can't be upset if they don't do something by the books, because if you would have known it from the beginning, you know what it's supposed to look like. You know what your money is going towards. So when someone says, I was like, yeah, I can write your grant, but I'm not, because that's not what I'm here. I'm here to show you there's more than local funding that's just based out of Escambia and Santa Rosa. There's worldwide funding and grants, and being able to tap into that will hopefully get them sustainable and not realize, because it's like a rat race. The same people in the town make same, grants,
Yes.
And it's limited amount of funding. So you have to be able to pivot and do other research outside of your local area.
I have always said long ago that people are not better than us. Some people have learned to seek out and apply information better than us.
Mm-hmm.
Information is power, but wisdom comes in the application of the information. And my understanding is you started out in the medical field, correct?
Correct.
Did you go to school to learn how to write grants?
Oh, no. It's all been self-taught, people pouring into Golden Elite. And, in the beginning, because we were getting denied for a lot of stuff, because for years, my husband didn't even do grants or anything. He's just like, I got my select few kids, and but the program grew, so we knew we needed funding.
Yes.
But it was so frustrating when they're talking about something as simple as a budget of certain things you thought you knew, but you really didn't. But you're just like, why do they keep telling us no? But no one would even take the time to say, this is what you did wrong, so next time you don't do it. And that's where I think with a lot of Black nonprofits, they get told no so much, and they just kind of give up, or they're just fully funding their nonprofit out of their pocket because they're just tired of being told no. So at that point, when people believed in Golden Elite, they would say, hey, next time look at doing this. It wasn't the funders telling me, it was other people pouring in. And that's when I started joining, these membership-based organizations, spending thousands of dollars to be a part of nonprofit membership groups, just so I could learn better from the backside of what grants was really about. And like once I got that little itch, like it, I was just like, okay, God, this is something I can do, even if I'm in a bad lupus flare and can't get out of bed that day.
Yes.
Like I can still get on my tablet or something and type something, or do a Zoom with somebody else to, pour into them.
You know what I find so amazing is that you invest your whole self into learning all of this, and then you're putting it back out for the benefit of the community at no cost to the community. And that is so rare today. And I had talked to you on one other occasion about Golden Elite, and I came home and talked to Helen about it because I found it so unique. You had told me that the parents signed a pledge or commitment when the kids are involved to, I guess what I'm getting at, you go to other sports events, you see some of these parents cussing at the kids or, blah, blah, blah. But I think the way y'all are set up, it develops that parent and child relationship deep by them parents committing to certain conduct.
Correct.
How long have you been doing this?
Let's see. Look, me and Coach Mike have been married for like 12 years. Yeah, I'm 13. So not as long as he has, but that was a foundation he set. Like ministry and youth, that's his calling. And I tell people, because they're like, oh, are you, this is your calling. I was like, no, I have to correct them. Youth is not my calling. I was like, I am my husband's helpmate, and I will help him thrive in whatever it is he's doing. But he's a whole different breed, because the children that we are servicing, we have kids from a single parent household that's making $12,000 a year to parents that are making six figures. But nothing changes. Like, we don't care if you have money or don't have money. It's across the board. We want these youth to see a safe, positive, and constructive place, because so many of them have been told, you're not tall enough for basketball, you're not pretty enough to be a cheerleader, or you can't do football because you're too tiny. There's something for every child in track and field. We always find a place, whether that's a race walk, whether you are a thrower, but it's there to build that confidence. And if you have an organization, sports or not, that's dealing with youth, and that leaders are cursing and they're fussing at the kids, that's what some of these kids see every day at their home.
Yes.
So the point of it is, you're supposed to be the change. How are you not being the change when you're doing that? So that's why Golden Elite, while we implement the code of conduct, the coaches will not curse at your kids. They will not belittle you. You will not do that on our premises. You will not smoke on the premises. Like, there's standards. And some people, they don't like that, or they try to say, we're uppity or whatever. So be it. But we're making that difference, because I can say over the 20 years, like, as far as I know, we haven't lost a child to violence. Like, nobody's fighting or shooting at a track meet, like, thank God. Yes. But if you set the standards up front, and even when we have coaches meetings with other coaches that are not part of our organization, before we have a track meet, we let them know this is what you will and will not do. And we've had to, tell coaches, if we hear you say another, curse word to a child, you're going to be disqualified.
Trust me, you all are making a difference. Y'all preparing those kids not only to succeed out there in the sport, but in life itself.
Yeah, and that's important. And I feel like the world is so caught up, unfortunately, in materialistic and money. And, I've had people to say, well, I really feel like you should be a consultant and charging. And I was like, that's all fine and great, but that's not what God laid on my heart. And I don't chase money. It's never been about money for me. I just want to do right and do good by people, because I tell anyone, someone poured into me and Golden Elite to teach us how to advance and to grow. And I just feel like that's just what you're supposed to do as a human, is pay it forward.
Yes. No, unfortunately, it's very few people with that mindset, though,
I know. We've been told several times with Golden Elite, it's like, oh, you're not going to be around if you don't start, giving stipends or, and I was like, no one gets paid at Golden Elite. In 20 years, no one gets paid. The things we do for our coaches, we cover their lodging when we travel and their food, but that to me shows a lot more. It's like you're really there because you love these kids, not because you're getting a paycheck just to be here. So that's how you find your core people. We have coaches that have been with us for over 6-7 years. We always get a good group of military coaches that'll stay for their 3-year term, until they're stationed somewhere else. So we've been very blessed and fortunate, and we even tell our coaches, like, hey, you can come once a month, that's okay, but they are there every single weekend. Over 3,000 hours a lot of our coaches are donating in a season. So
when you set good standards, it's a good foundation. I was going to ask you, how do you envision a Escambia and Santa Rosa Black nonprofit making a positive impact on the local community? But obviously, earlier you said when you first started out, there was no assistance really for Black business. And now that you have planted those roots, and from reviewing the page itself, there's a lot of involvement. And the community might not directly, I always say, they really appreciate you, but you are a great asset to the community.
Thank you. And I mean, you're going to have some of those people that they don't understand why, but I'm not here to try to make you understand. Like, I'm here to serve the community, and this is who I'm choosing to help navigate this world. And don't get me wrong, and I'll help anyone. If you come to me, I don't care if you're white, black, purple, I will. If I can help you, I'm going to help you. But seeing our people struggle, that was the target population that I was like, something has to be done, and it was kind of to the point of, I'm joining these things to learn, but then it's like, okay, but you see the politics, you see the bias in a lot of, things that are here in this community. And I'm just here to, I don't sugarcoat. So a lot of people, they don't know how to take me. But I'm not here necessarily to make friends. I'm just here to do what's right. And if you're not doing something right to help the community as a whole, I will call you out on it. So, so I ruffle some feathers. Just put it that way.
I can't say enough. In just a short time, I've actually went through that page a lot. Escambia Santa Rosa Black Nonprofit Organization, and can clearly see the difference that it makes in the life and the business life of a lot. Are there Black businesses that have already been established that supportive of what you're doing there?
Yes, but like I said, I honestly haven't really reached out to a whole lot of local outside of trying to help the nonprofits. But I think once people find out, they're very interested and they want to know how they can help. And so that's me having to go back to my strategic planning to say, okay, this is here. Now you need to allow people in. We've even talked about a nonprofit gala for later in the year. So I've had some people approach me, about how they can definitely assist the nonprofit. So I just have to now formulate that. Our goal is to give out a grant at the end of the year. It may be $500, but it's a start that some of these nonprofits need to show that they've been vetted. Because a lot of funders, they'll look at it, if no one has ever given money, they automatically deny you. And it's like, I get it on a certain, level,
yes,
but how are they supposed to start? Maybe you don't give them 5,000, maybe you give them 250 to see how are they going to be good stewards of the money? But a lot of people aren't giving them that opportunity.
I know for a fact black businesses are not highlighted, and I think
not at all.
The two magazines that are moving around here a lot are VIP and Scarlet.
Mm-hmm.
I think Scarlet is probably more diverse than VIP, and I even wrote the editor of VIP one time asking Black themed events and present, but I didn't get a response back to.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Here's a question to think about. What is the one thing that you wish people would understand?
When it comes to Black nonprofits, or what?
When it comes to Black businesses.
I wish that they would understand it's not that someone is trying to compete. They're just here. A lot of them want to collaborate. They want that opportunity to show that they're just as good as a white organization. But I feel we have to go through so many hoops just to prove ourselves, and it's very draining. And I think I would like for the community to know we're not looking for a handout. We just want what's fair, and we want our seat at the table, because at the end of the day, if we all come together, that's what's helping our community thrive. That will be it.
You think that we as a black community are really fully supportive of black businesses?
I think we can do more to support within ourselves, because, like once again, it comes over, everyone has their niche in whether it's nonprofit or for-profit business, and you can have 1,000 people that do hair, but guess what? They all do it different, and I think coming together and showing unity, and I think sometimes we don't see our strength. Like, we could be so powerful if we are just unified together. But a lot of times people are always about competition. They're not trying to collaborate with other people that are in the same industry. And the same thing with nonprofit world. I've connected several nonprofits with larger white nonprofits that are doing the exact same thing. But guess what? They've been around longer. They have funding. This is something you can learn from them, and they can learn from you.
Yes.
So, and funders like that. They like to see you're collaborating with someone else that's doing the same thing. Because at the end of the day, that's how the community is being served as a whole.
So, you want to tell us how we can support, the community can support Lupus Strength Circle, or Smiles Behind Lupus, as well as the Escambia and Santa Rosa Black Nonprofit, and give us information about how we could contribute to Golden Elite Track Club, if you would.
Absolutely. So with the Escambia and Santa Rosa Black Nonprofit Group, I would love if you're a business and you have services that would benefit a nonprofit, or you're willing to mentor a Black nonprofit in a specific area. I'm always looking for those in-kind services. If you do a consultation service and it's for money, like I'm trying to create a directory so that the Black nonprofits can go to and say, oh, this person does accounting, because, people gravitate to people that look like them. Yeah. And so I'm trying to form that directory so they can definitely, contact me. My phone number, 850-372978, or they can email. It's empower.blacknp@gmail.com is for the Black Nonprofit Group. And just share the stuff on social media to get the word out. And as far as Golden Elite, you can go to goldenelite.club and make a donation. We are a 501c3. And on the Smiles Behind Lupus, just when we post something or you see something about a lupus event or autoimmune, just share it to the next person. I do a live, me and my co-founder of the Lupus Strength Circle. We highlight other autoimmune warriors, not just lupus warriors, to share their stories so the community knows that, because we want that awareness out there. So, yeah, that's about it.
There are Facebook pages on each one of those.
Yes. So all of them have a Facebook, Golden Elite Track and Field Club, the Escambia Escambia and Santa Rosa Black Nonprofit Group. I have a private group and I have a public page. The private group, sometimes I'm able to put, funding things out there before I release it publicly.
Yes.
But yeah, so everything has a Facebook page.
Okay. Your upcoming events, run them by us again one more time, please.
So as far as the Black Nonprofit Group, right now we are in the stages of trying to form a monthly get-together. I'm thinking that will be sometime towards May timeframe that I can get that together. Golden Elite, we just got done with an amazing Justin Gatlin Freshman Sophomore Invitational, which Mr. Bonner, you were instrumental in helping with that. And coming up May 25th, we have the Gulf Coast Primary and Intermediate Championship, and that's going to be for kids 14 and under, all the way down to age 4. So that's going to be something that's never been done in our area. We're just trying to put track and field on the map. Eventually, we were praying that we can get another rubber track in this city, That's community based, but yeah. So it's a lot of stuff. Just visit our website, and we got a whole list of dates of track meets.
Y'all have already put Golden Elite on the map. Is that event May the 23rd? Is that at Booker T? 25th?
It's May the 25th at Booker T. Washington High School in Pensacola. Yeah. And it's open to whoever, as long as you're between the ages of 4 and 14, you can come participate. And in June, we'll be doing the AAU Junior Olympic District Qualifier, and also USATF. We will be looking at hosting their first round qualifier for their Junior Olympics.
Certainly appreciate having you as a guest today.
I appreciate you for having me.
You're a very impressive person. I'm still sitting here wondering, God, how did she do all this? And,
Lots of prayer.
Yes, manage a family and do all this in the middle. It ain't just one or two things, but I can just imagine the number of people that come to you for guidance and dealing with nonprofits because a service as unique as you offer. Most people used to paying these big old fees. And you don't do that. So I can imagine the number of people that's actually coming at you or calling you all hours of the day. You know what I mean? So, hey, my hat's off to you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. But I'm just thankful for being able for God to allow me to have the financial means to join these organizations like Sunday's Child, who's an amazing organization. I served as a grant co-chair for 2 years with them, and I learned so much more. Being in that seat, but also seeing firsthand of the struggles. So I'm just thankful that God sent people and organizations to pour into me that I can return that to our community.
God is good all the time.
Amen.
All right. Any closing comments you'd like to share with us?
I just want to say thank you for what you're doing and for spotlighting local grassroots businesses and nonprofits. It is so needed in the community, and I just appreciate. And if anyone needs my assistance, I'm here to help.
And we appreciate you. We appreciate you. All right. You take care. Have a good day.
For you too.
Thank you. Thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you.
All right, folks. This is Sunrise Conversations Podcast. You heard it there from the young lady on the move doing positive things. Anybody out there with a black nonprofit, if you need guidance, someone who really cares about your success in life, you now know where to go. It's Golden Elite Track Club. Not only are they succeeding on the track, they're building character in the future. Leaders of tomorrow. You heard it all here. Sunrise Conversations Podcast. Folks, we can be found on iHeart Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Until then, take care, folks. This has been Ken Bonner. We want to say thank you to Miss Cheryl. That young lady's doing a lot. I mean a lot to really help others. You won't find a more kind-hearted person. She's not asking for money or anything, folks. And this woman truly wants to see everybody succeed. So if you can help in any kind of way, don't be shy about doing it. This is Ken Bonner, Sunrise Conversations Podcast. Until next time, take care.